Hello, everyone, and welcome to English Voyage Podcast. I'm very happy you're here today. In today's episode, we're going to talk about a question that almost every language learner has asked at some point. It is a question that can appear after weeks, months, or even years of study. The question is simple: why is learning a new language so hard? If you are learning English right now, you may know exactly what I mean. Maybe you have spent hours studying vocabulary, but you still forget words. Maybe you understand a video one day and then struggle with a similar video the next day. Maybe you have learned grammar rules but still feel nervous when speaking. Sometimes it can feel like you are working very hard but moving very slowly. When that happens, many learners begin to wonder if they are doing something wrong. The truth is that learning a new language is difficult for almost everyone. It is not difficult because you are not smart enough. It is not difficult because you started too late. And it is not difficult because you lack talent. In many cases, it is difficult simply because of what language actually is. Language is not just a subject that we study. It is a system that our brains use to understand the world, communicate with people, express emotions, and organize thoughts. When we learn a new language, we are not simply memorizing information. We are training our brains to work in a new way. One reason language learning feels difficult is because progress is often invisible. Imagine someone going to the gym for the first time. After one workout, they probably will not see a major change in the mirror. Even after a week, the results may still be difficult to notice. Yet inside the body, important changes are already happening. Muscles are adapting. Strength is increasing. The same thing happens when learning a language. Every time you listen, read, speak, or study, your brain is making new connections. The problem is that these changes happen quietly. Because we cannot see them, we sometimes believe that no progress is being made. Another challenge is that language learning requires many different skills at the same time. Think about it for a moment. To communicate in a language, you need vocabulary. You need grammar. You need listening skills. You need pronunciation. You need reading ability. You need confidence. If just one of these areas is weak, communication becomes more difficult. This is why learners often feel confused. They may improve significantly in one area while still struggling in another. A person may understand English well but find speaking difficult. Another person may speak confidently but struggle with listening. Progress is rarely balanced across every skill. Many learners also become frustrated because they expect language learning to be a straight line. They imagine steady improvement every week. In reality, language learning often feels more like climbing a mountain covered by clouds. Sometimes you move forward quickly. Sometimes you feel stuck. Sometimes you even feel like you are getting worse. This can be very discouraging. However, what many learners do not realize is that these periods of frustration are often a normal part of the process. The brain needs time to organize and strengthen what it has learned. Growth does not always happen at the moment we expect it. Social media can make this challenge even harder. Every day, we see videos of people speaking perfect English, learning multiple languages, or claiming they became fluent in a very short time. After watching enough of these stories, it becomes easy to think that everyone else is learning faster than we are. But just like many things online, we are usually seeing only part of the story. We do not see the years of practice behind those achievements. We do not see the mistakes, the embarrassing moments, or the days when those learners felt like giving up. We only see the final result, and that can create unrealistic expectations. Another reason language learning feels difficult is that it constantly forces us outside our comfort zone. Most people are comfortable speaking their native language because they have used it for many years. They can express ideas naturally and confidently. In a new language, however, even simple conversations can feel challenging. Suddenly, we make mistakes. We forget words. We struggle to explain our thoughts. This experience can be uncomfortable because nobody enjoys feeling less capable than they know they are. Yet, this discomfort is not a sign of failure. It is actually evidence that learning is taking place. One of the biggest misunderstandings about language learning is the belief that mistakes are a problem. Many learners become afraid of making errors. They want every sentence to be correct before they speak. They want perfect pronunciation before they start conversations. Unfortunately, this mindset often slows progress. Think about how children learn their first language. They make thousands of mistakes. They use incorrect words. They pronounce things incorrectly. Yet nobody expects perfection from them. They learn through trial and error. Adults often forget this lesson and become far too critical of themselves. There is also the challenge of forgetting. Many language learners become discouraged when they forget vocabulary or grammar they studied before. They think forgetting means they are failing. In reality, forgetting is a normal part of learning. The brain does not immediately store every piece of information forever. Learning often requires repeated exposure. Sometimes we need to see a word many times before it becomes familiar. This process can feel slow, but it is completely natural. The goal is not to remember everything instantly. The goal is to continue returning to the language until it becomes part of us. Perhaps the hardest part of language learning is not grammar, vocabulary, or pronunciation. Perhaps the hardest part is patience. Modern life teaches us to expect quick results. We can order food in minutes, watch videos instantly, and find information with a few clicks. Language learning follows a different timeline. It is a long-term process. It rewards consistency more than intensity. A person who studies a little every day for a year will often achieve more than someone who studies for hours only when they feel motivated. Progress comes from regular contact with the language over time. This is why comparing yourself to other learners can be so harmful. Every learner has a different background, different goals, and different experiences. Some people have more free time. Some have more opportunities to practice. Some have been learning longer than they appear. When you compare your journey to someone else's, you often ignore these differences. A better question is not, am I learning faster than others? A better question is, am I improving compared to where I was before? That is the comparison that truly matters. The good news is that the very things that make language learning difficult are also what make it rewarding. Every conversation becomes a small victory. Every new word expands your ability to understand the world. Every improvement opens new opportunities, new friendships, and new experiences. The journey may be challenging, but it changes you in ways that go far beyond language itself. It teaches patience. It teaches persistence. It teaches you how to keep moving forward even when progress feels slow. So if you have ever felt frustrated while learning a language, remember this. Struggling does not mean you are failing. Feeling challenged does not mean you are incapable. In many cases, it means you are doing exactly what learners are supposed to do. Every person who became fluent once stood where you are now. They experienced confusion, mistakes, and moments of doubt. The difference is that they continued. Before we finish today's episode, I want to leave you with one final thought. Learning a new language is hard not because you are weak, but because you are doing something remarkable. You are teaching your brain to understand the world in a new way. That takes time. That takes effort. And most importantly, that takes patience. So be kind to yourself, trust the process, and remember that every small step forward matters. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of English Voyage Podcast. If you are currently learning a language, I hope this episode reminds you that your struggles are normal and your progress is real, even when you cannot see it yet. Take care, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next episode.